This show is brought to you in part by viewers like you who joined a Patreon or become YouTube members. Thank you. And if you could, hit the like button and subscribe if you want more Browns-focused content. Let's continue on with our conversation. We got JP ACOSTA on here with CBS Sports. All right, man, the main event, the quarterbacks. This is what we've been waiting for. Now, first, we'll play a fun game here, right? I think we played this last time. Will they declare or will they stay there? Right. First guy on the list, Dante Moore. Does he declare or does he stay there?
I'm leaning towards stay.
You think he stays?
There's been a lot of smoke about around Dante Moore staying in Oregon for a year. I think he stays.
Do you think he can turn down a top 10 evaluation?
I mean, it's tough now because he's still getting a lot of NIL money from Oregon. That's the biggest Oregon money. And he gets another year developed potentially under Will Stein if he doesn't get another job. I don't know how you can turn down top 10, but I don't know if he's going to get a top 10 grade.
If Will Stein leaves, do you think he stays?
At Oregon, yeah.
Okay. All right. This is the most interesting one because there's one factor in this guy that makes me think he's going to go, but everything else will point to he needs to stay.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Darius Mensah.
I think Mensah's going to stay, but because there isn't really a true like second tier of quarterback right now, he might test the waters.
The options for Darius Mensah, because he has that 2-year NIL deal, if I am to believe the terms of this correctly, is Duke or the NFL, right? There is no you can leave Duke in this
but I don't
scenario
even see why he would leave Duke unless it's for the NFL. I think it's a good offense for him. And like I said, if he's not getting a first round or like anywhere in that range grade, just go back for another year.
He getting his ass beat at Duke. Like, that's the thing. He's taking a lot of hits. They losing to Connecticut.
Hey, UConn 7-3.
They're still Connecticut.
Like, 7-3 Connecticut though.
Are they even in a conference anymore?
Let me see. I don't
think they are.
I don't think they're in a conference for football.
I think their football game was on like WGN or something like that. I'm like, there's no way you're in a
probably
conference.
The CW.
It's like this game's on Ion. Like, but that's the only thing. It's like, I think he should come back. I think he could raise his stock. It makes a lot of sense. He's super young. But I can see him being like, I don't want to play at Duke again.
See, like, I initially thought you were talking about Lenore Sellers.
Oh, no. Lenore Sellers to me is less of a mystery. Go get that Miami bag, right? Like,
I'll just say, wherever Will Stein goes, you follow.
Oh, you think he should do the Will Stein thing?
Yes.
Yeah, that makes sense
for him. Or at least get away from what might be the worst Power 4 offensive line.
Hey, look, if Dante Moore does declare, you know who's going to declare, who's going to commit to Oregon the next day? Lenore Sellers.
My time to shine.
Immediately, he's like, they always got decent offensive lines over there.
And you're going to get DeCorian Moore and Evan Stewart coming back? Hey, man, I'm just saying.
Yeah, with Mensah, it's like, I was watching him play against Connecticut, and I'm like, he's so good. But man, it must suck to be that good at Duke. like
nobody
how many games he done throw like 4 touchdowns? It was like, we still lost.
Hey, you know what? The scouts gonna see it though.
Bro, he had to fight for his life to beat Clemson this year. Like, he had to throw for 400 yards. I'm like, you got to be tired of this, man. Like, when they going to convince you it's going to get better? Like,
hey, you know, year 3 of Manny Diaz. We'll see what happens.
That's if he did not have that NIL deal, I'll be like, he's a lock to go back to college. But I'm like, man, his options are Duke or the league. He might just say to himself, I'd rather go be in the league.
Hey, Duke education. You never know.
Yeah, and he does seem to care, right? He went to Tulane. But I also think he's the type of dude that graduates in 3.
True.
And what, he already's 3 years in college, right?
Yeah, this is 3rd year.
Yeah, so he's probably going to get that degree this offseason. So, yeah. Look, I understand every argument for him to stay in, except for your option is Duke. Like, don't nobody care at Duke. You done played at Tulane. They done booed you at Tulane. Like, what's left for you? You fighting to be bowl eligible this year. Like, I don't know, man. Like, it don't look like it's going to get better next year.
See, I just don't know if he's ready for the NFL from a passer standpoint.
Speaking of Lenore Sellers, I know the conventional wisdom is going to be he needs to stay in college because he's not ready. I will argue, yes, Lenore Sellers is not ready, and that's exactly why he needs to guarantee that he goes somewhere where he doesn't play in the NFL for a year. Because I don't know if playing football for him is going to make his, like, it's going to fix his problems right now. Like, I think he just like...
Well, I think what he needs is an offense with an actual, like, the South Carolina hired Mike Shula as their offensive coordinator this offseason. They had Mike Shula running the offense.
Yes.
And then fired him because it's Mike Shula. So I think he needs a college offense that'll help nurture him as a passer. And with like an offensive line that actually can like block people. So I think he needs to stay because I also think the NFL is going to start. And I'm not calling him Anthony Richardson because that's not fair to him.
Yeah.
But they are seeing a lot of the project quarterbacks. Like we got to let this guy, like, we'll bring this guy in. We'll let him sit for a year and we'll see what happens. I don't think the NFL wants to do that anymore.
Well, I think the teams that take these project quarterbacks, how do I put it? You take a dude like Lenore Sellers, Anthony Richardson. It's like buying a Cadillac when you make Toyota money. You know what I mean? Like, it's a luxury that you cannot afford because you need to be able to legitimately not play that guy. Right? Like, and I know people will hit me up, well, who can the Browns get at quarterback to not play Lenore Sellers for a year? That's the problem. Nobody you're going to acquire this year is going to keep Lenore Sellers off the field if you draft him in the first round. You need to just have somebody there already, right? Like, he needs to go to a team with the quarterback. I
think the Browns offense is a little further away than let a quarterback come sit for a year, then he's your guy. Like,
we can't even let Dylan Gabriel or Shador Sanders sit for a year. We are nowhere near let this guy sit for a year territory at quarterback. And it's like a team that I think would be interesting, like if he did come out and they did take him, was like Philadelphia.
Like, I think they really like Tanner McKee, though.
I think they like Tanner McKee. But I think they would like Lenore Sellers more.
Yeah. But I just think NFL teams are going to start taking those quarterbacks who you think need a year or two to develop. They're not going to take them on day one anymore.
Ooh. So you're saying that Philadelphia and Kansas City are going to hit another lick in like 3 years because this is where that trend is going?
Yes. That's exactly what I'm saying.
Looking forward to that.
The Pat Mahomes successor coming from a D2 school in South Dakota, or coming from like South Dakota State.
It's funny too because what Lamar went at 32 and that killed all of that. Right, like that's Lamar going at 32 is like, okay, no more taking projects late. And then I think there was some early success with some guys, and then now people are going to probably trend back the other way. And we know who's going to hit the lick. It's going to be Philly. They hit the lick in the draft every year. We're like, oh, this guy's in the top 5. And he just falls to Philadelphia, and they're like, how did Philly get him? Every year, it's going to be Philly. All right, so we covered Mensah, Moore, in Sellers. Ty Simpson.
He should go.
Yeah, I think it's pretty clear.
I think he's like the clear cut, like he's QB2 in this draft, and QB2 is going to make a lot of money. And I also just think he's a really good quarterback.
Fernando Mendoza.
QB1, baby. That has been my guy since April, and I have not wavered.
You think he comes out?
Oh, absolutely.
I do think he's going to take a little bit extra time to come out because you ever hear this guy talk?
Yes.
He's going to like have to talk. Somebody's going to have to talk him out of like, I want to get this championship for my guys. And it's like, all right, man.
The spin zone to that is if he leaves, his brother will take over the starting job.
That's who's gonna talk him out of it. You know what I mean, JP? That's who's gonna talk him out of it. Nah, like, man, you gotta get yours.
I'll go get the championship for us.
Hey, bro, we gonna get this. Like, we gonna get this. You go get that bag in the NFL. I got you. Like, or it's gonna be, hey man, that was the deal. 1 year. Okay. Like, I don't know how young that other Mendoza is. But yeah, I think he probably struggles with it more than people anticipate, but he's definitely gonna come out because he's gonna be like the top pick of the draft more than likely. So let's talk about the top two in this class, right? Ty Simpson, Fernando Mendoza. For you, do you see there being much of a gap between those two players? And if so, what do you think defines that gap?
I think for me, I have Mendoza over Simpson. I think it's not a sizable gap. I don't think it's like a big gap at all, but I do feel more confident in Mendoza in the fact that he's just played more games. And I think he's I think I enjoy watching him test teams downfield a little bit more than Ty Simpson, even though I think Simpson might be a little more nimble. So, like, I think Simpson will be able to do a little bit more when it comes to throwing on the move, whereas Mendoza is a little bit more stationary of a pocket passer. So, I think those are the things that kind of delineate the two. But I like the fact that Mendoza has played and started for two schools, and he's been productive at both schools that he's been at.
Yeah, and it seems like, generally speaking, he is well liked by his teammates, right? He had the 97-yard drive at Cal against Stanford. There was a 97 yards for my boys was the quote in the press conference. Yeah. And then, he's had those two drives this season, Oregon, and then the last drive against Penn State, where you're like, okay, like high pressure moments don't seem to be too big for him, right? Which is what you want to see with him going from like, okay, you're playing at Cal, the microscope's not on you. You're a big college football Sunday noon. You got Gus Johnson in the booth losing his mind. Yeah, Penn State stinks, but it's still Penn State. Like, it's still 100,000 people in there on the road, going crazy, thinking they about to get their first top 10 win in in a decade?
Yeah.
Yeah. After they done fired the dude because he can't get none of these wins, and they like, oh, we about to get you. You ain't never won there as a university as in Indiana. So it's like, oh, okay. That's a big moment, and for him to come up as big as he did, I mean, like that throw to that running back I was like, wow. Wow, that's capital A anticipation. Like,
he made a few throws on that drive, just nails.
Like, it's crazy.
I was like, I'd draft him as a top quarterback just on that drive alone.
Yeah, that was the one where I was like, yep.
That's all you need to know.
That was the one that made losing to the Jets much more tolerable. I was like, it's fine. What would you say? Because I would say both Ty Simpson and Fernando Mendoza are kind of that more balanced prospect, like a CJ Stroud, where there's not like one individual thing where you can go, he has that. That's the thing. He's the big arm guy, right? Like Cam Ward last year was the arm talent guy. In other years, you have guys like Lamar who are like, hey, he can just run at a level that nobody can run at. And that kind of dominates the conversation. For you, when you look at Mendoza and Ty Simpson, what are those top tier traits for you when you watch them, or the traits that sell them the most for you?
I think for Mendoza, it's the pre to post snap processing. He has seen and played a lot of football. Nothing really phases him, and he is so confident in what he sees post snap that he's ripping a lot of passes in tight windows. And I think for Simpson, it's the same thing, but over the middle of the field. Ty Simpson is such a confident, accurate, and aggressive thrower over the middle of the field where a lot of young quarterbacks just don't want to test because, like we talked about with the hospital ball thing, there's just a lot more bodies in the middle of the field. And players don't want to risk throwing interceptions. And in the middle of the field, it requires timing, arm strength, anticipation. And I think Ty Simpson has that in that area. So I think those would be the top two qualities that I really think stand out for both guys.
Is there with both of these guys, are there any like big concerns for you or things that you want to see be better over the course of this season? Like if you had to point out like a weakness.
I think for Mendoza, it's the second reaction throws where like, okay, what I thought was happening pre-post snap isn't there, or maybe there's a free runner. I want to see him be a little bit better when he's hot off pressure. And I think for Ty Simpson, I just think he can improve in some of the, I think he's a tad reckless sometimes. So I think he can sort of tone that down a little bit, but I'd rather tone a guy down than talk a guy up into making those throws. So those would be two things that I really think stand out as areas to improve.
All right, let me ask you a question. If you're the general manager of the Browns, and right now the Browns are 2-7, they right now have the second lowest strength of schedule in football. The highest belongs to Buffalo. So they have the tiebreaker when it comes to the draft pick right now. And that's probably going to maintain itself. Whatever whatever the Baltimore Ravens gain, the Pittsburgh Steelers will probably make up for. And then they play all the teams that are ahead of them. And also the Browns are a 2-win team. The only team ahead of them, once all the bye weeks are done, are the Titans. And you play the Titans. General Manager ACOSTA, what are you doing?
I think right now, for what Kevin Stefanski wants to do and wants to be as a offense and what he wants in a passer, I think it's Fernando Mendoza.
I was actually like, do you do the shameless thing at this point, which is do you fully commit to manipulating your draft position?
Well, I don't even think they have to manipulate their draft position. They're just bad at football. Like that's my thing when like people like the Browns should tank. And when they haven't done that already,
Yeah.
they don't have to try and be bad. So like all the Browns got to do is just stay the course.
I will say this though, that last game versus Cincinnati, I know Bengal fans like we don't have to win that game if we want a chance at the division. I'm like, buddy, you're gonna get that game.
You don't have to try.
We don't have to try, but we also don't got to play Miles.
Yeah. Well, actually, if Miles is close to the sack record,
Ooh.
I think he plays. Because he's on pace right now, I think, for 21 and a half. And look, man.
Hey, look, the Bengals always give him a couple.
You know, you got the Titans on the schedule too.
Whew. I feel like Cam Ward is going to have his welcome to the league moment, but it's going to be another rookie that's going to give him that. It's going to be Carson Schlesinger that gives him that. Because like you might run away from Miles, right? Like when you won't. I'm saying like you might run away from Miles long enough to where he's not the one that gets you. But if you turn around, 49 gonna be shooting right at you, and I'm like, he's probably gonna get there before Miles.
But see, Myles Garrett right now tied for the sack lead with 11.
Yeah, it's crazy.
He's got 11 in 9 games. If we game that out, that's about a sack a game, or 1.2. We'll round it up to 1.5 sacks a game. So they got 8 games left. 8 times 1.5 here. That's 12. So he's on pace for 21 sacks. If you get to the Bengals game and you're faced with the decision of we need that top pick versus Miles gets the sack record, I'm choosing the sack record, honestly.
Well, you could just do what the Bengals have done before. Let Miles get in there.
To grab him his couple, then
all right, Miles. It's gonna be Isaiah McGuire the rest of the way,
but hey, just take yours off the top. Again, this is a hypothetical. If the Titans do get that first overall pick, there's nothing preventing the Browns from going from 2-1 if they
No.
really just are sold on one of those guys
Yeah.
and don't want like a team like the Jets to jump them or something. But if nobody jumps them and the Titans just want to sit there and draft like Ruben Bain or something, you're sitting pretty. Like again, like this is it feels like last year before the trade, like you're kind of set. If you sit at 2, you're fine. If you want to trade up to 1, you're good.
Mhm.
I'm saying let's go get that sack record. Let's go make some money.
I would say as long as the Browns end up in the top 5, and I think their percentage is like 80% to be like 90% or something crazy like that to be in the top 5 now, they're probably going to be fine because worst case scenario, the Titans are definitely going to have a pick that you can get, right? And as long as you're in the top 5, they can get Arvell Reese or Ruben Bain and they'll be happy, right? They want to edge. So, yeah, in general, I don't think they have to do it. It's just like, I know Andrew Berry well enough to know that he thinks of that as an opportunity. Like, it's like, don't know if I want to pass that one up. Hey, they played Bailey Zapp for no reason last year. You remember that?
I do remember that. The Michael Pierce interception.
Yeah, they just benched Jameis to play Bailey Zapp. No reason to do that. Not a single reason to do that.
Hey, maybe that's the Shador game.
Do you think Shador? What does it say if Shador is the guy they put in because they want to guarantee losing more than Dylan Gabriel? I can't believe that would be the case.
If that's a thing, they don't want him on the field at all.
I want to say, like, there's no way he's not playing because they don't think he's better, right? Like, there's no way.
Something clearly, like, I don't know.
Something ain't right there. I don't know if it's like what the conspiracy theories are saying, where it's like, oh, well, the Browns don't want him to play. Or maybe it is that the Browns don't want him to play, but maybe they got more reason to not want him to play than what we know.
Yeah,
I'm fascinated.
Something's up there.
Yeah, something's because, like, hey, man, I will say this. If Shador does not play after the Baltimore game, because I understand not wanting to throw him in the Baltimore game, something's up. Like, we get to mid-December and it's still Dylan Gabriel, something stinks. like something definitely, I don't know what it is, but something stinks. Because at that point, like, even if it's just like it don't even got to be a coach's decision at that point. Like, it can be a personnel-led decision. So it's like, why ain't he playing?
Like, at this point,
if we don't hear Josita Anderson talk about how the locker room wants to see Shador Sanders by mid-December,
it's rough.
Me and JP chatting up about the quarterbacks, and we'll get back to that conversation in just a minute. Just got to thank my sponsor, Sleeper. Real quick, just want to let you guys know Sleeper has a new offer here. They're offering a free $20 entry, no deposit required. And also, if you're a first-time user, you also will receive a 100% match on up to $100 when you use the promo code Worst Take. Again, $20 free, no deposit required. Plus, first-time users also receive a 100% deposit match up to $100. Join Sleeper. Let's finish this off by circling back. We took a very long detour away from quarterback. Let's circle back to quarterback here. Would you say this is a good quarterback class or a better quarterback class than last year?
Yes.
Go ahead.
I think I haven't gotten to full grading yet, but I do think Mendoza and Ty Simpson and possibly Dante Moore, if he enters, are all going to be rated higher for me than Cam Ward was, or whoever you had your QB1 as. I think they'll both finish higher.
Do you see any incentive or reason for the Browns, if they have the pick to get a quarterback this year, to kick the can down the road to 2027?
No, because the other things the Browns need, like offensive lineman or wide receiver, you're not drafting 2 receivers in round 1.
Mm-hmm.
You're probably not going to draft 2 tackles in round 1. But this is not a great tackle class. So maybe they kick the can on the tackle instead of kicking the can on the quarterback.
that would make more sense to me, right? Hopefully next year you're not in a position where taking a tackle with one of your picks feels like a super early reach.
Yeah.
I think in general, this is the thing I've been saying with Browns fans, because Browns fans have been saying, hey, look, there's a lot of problems on the team. You know, why draft the quarterback into all of these problems? And I'm like, well, you could solve some of this in free agency. You could make it better at least in free agency, and then obviously with the rest of your draft picks. But what you cannot turn down is when there is a opportunity to take a quarterback in the top whatever, and like your board also aligns with, hey, this guy's in the top whatever of our board, right? And that seems like the unique opportunity afoot for the Cleveland Browns. You can't say no to that. Like you say no to that bites you in the ass for like forever. And that's the kind of thing that the Browns have to avoid doing. Your read on it, if you think this is going to be a situation where Mendoza is going to pretty much be the clear-cut one guy?
I think it depends. Mendoza versus Simpson. I think some teams are going to have Simpson at QB1. I think Mendoza teams going to have Mendoza. You're really going to have your pick. Take your pick at quarterback, honestly. I don't think the margin, like I said, I don't think the margin's that sizable. So whoever you pick at that spot for the quarterback, I think either one is good.
Last thing, do you recognize how much Fernando Mendoza sounds just like Tony Khan?
I didn't think about that before you said
it. You ever hear him talk?
That's crazy. Yeah.
Like even when he's not like, because he does like the Tony Khan, like, I was going down there with my boys and everything, and I love this. Let's fucking go. And then like he does that, but then even when he's like calm in the press conference, I'm like, that sounds like when Tony Khan does those videos before Dynamite. He's like, hey, what's up, everybody? It's Tony Khan here. We have a great Dynamite aligned for you.
Like he's really trying hard.
Yeah, to enunciate and everything else like that. But yeah, are you ever going to be able to unhear that? Because I can't. I'm going to spread that to anybody who knows who Tony Khan is. And like you,
I'll never be able to.
You know Tony Khan.
Yeah. I can't get that out of my head now.
By the way, I wonder what it's going to be like to be a Jaguar fan when he officially takes over, because that man loves wrestling more than he likes football. And the Jaguars stink. But this man at Dynamite every Wednesday is going to drive you insane.
He out there. I said it last year while the Jaguars were awful. He out there doing TikTok dances with Mercedes Monet. Like, man, go fix the team. Yeah. Trent Baalke is still there.
Trent Baalke going to be out there robbing money, but he's like, hey, man, Swerve, new 3-year contract. That's all I care about.
Can Swerve play cornerback?
Nope. He's out here trying to renegotiate Keith Lee to come back.
Give him to play tackle.
No, like, you know what's going to drive you crazy about him? He's not going to give the power to somebody else. He's going to do the job, too. But it's going to be his second job, because that man care way more.
It's side gig.
Did he care about any of these other things?
It's side gig.
It's amazing to think that he has like 2 other jobs, because doesn't he run Fulham?
Yes.
Every time I see his mentions, it's a bunch of AEW fans that are like, oh man, I love this. You put together such a good product. I enjoy it. Appreciate you, Tony Khan. And then there are the fans of the teams that he manages, and they're like, hey man,
enough.
When are you coming to run the team?
Like, please save the team.
Nah, y'all gonna hire Urban Meyer. He gonna be like, he got it.
Never again.
You're gonna have to push it in wrestling terms for him. Like, hey man, he's the Vince Russo of football. Oh. Like you might have to position yourself, JP, for the betterment of the Jacksonville Jaguars, to be that middleman between football and wrestling for Tony Khan.
I'm gonna start bringing wrestling posters.
Yeah, like obscure ones too, like Japanese wrestlers from All Japan in the 90s. Like,
Gotta get to his level.
yeah, you gotta bring up Masawa or something like that. He gonna be like, oh, okay, this guy knows ball. You gotta talk to him about the Japanese Aki wrestling games. Like, nah, he ain't about to hear you if you know about ECW. Like, he ain't trying that. What you know about Hulk Hogan? Hide them John Cena shirts. Like, he ain't gonna see it. No, he like, what you know about what's his name? Psychosis.
Psychosis is a crazy pull.
Yeah. What you know about Psychosis and Dean Malenko at early Nitro. But all fun there. Hopefully we are both happy. Hopefully, look, we can revisit this trade next year and we could both be just thrilled. Could you imagine that, JP? You know, both of us just happy. You know, like, oh yeah, Trevor Lawrence and Travis Hunter, they look great. And we're like, we got a quarterback and we got a wide receiver. And we're just like, all right, we'll see you in the playoffs. Can you imagine a world that nice?
I hope so. That's a world that I want to live in.
Mm-hmm. That's the happiest place on earth. That's a castle that doesn't have to worry about you being up there. You know? But in all seriousness, make sure you guys go check out JP. We know you're on CBS Sports. Where else are you, man?
You can find me on our podcast, Pushing the Pile. That's the main place where I'll be Sunday nights after every week of football, be on Tuesday and Thursday. You can find my writing at CBS Sports, and you can also find me on CBS Sports HQ or CBS Sports Network talking about whatever football's going on.
Oh yeah, CBS Sports HQ now. Okay. Look, he's gonna be sitting in the agent section at the Senior Bowl sooner than later.
God no.
We went, where's JP? He's at the pile watching the one-on-ones up front. Hope he got video.
I'm gonna start posting video.
Yeah, like just like live stream it, just to us, just to the homies, you know. But appreciate you coming on here, man. Make sure you guys go check out JP. He's doing big things. Peace.